children. Today we'll be starting with the discussion of chapter Plant Breeding to Enhance Food Production. The main objectives that we'll cover in this video are: what is plant breeding, traits in improved varieties, plant introduction, and main steps in breeding. So first of all, what is plant breeding? Plant breeding is a specialized technology based on genetics, or more precisely, I can say it is a science of changing the traits of plants in order to produce desired characteristics. Its main aim is to produce new crops superior to their existing ones. It can also be defined as a science as well as an art of improving genetic makeup of all plants in relation to their economic use. By plant breeding methods, new varieties that are resistant to diseases, giving higher yield, and having shorter life cycle are evolved. Various traits in improved varieties. The prime objective of crop improvement is to produce improved varieties or superior crops. Crop improvement through breeding now forms the backbone of modern agriculture. Improved variety. The term improved variety refers to a variety that is superior to the other existing varieties of the same crop in one or more characters. The term superior may differ from crop to crop. The crop could be superior in yield, quality, or resistance to pest. Some of the desirable traits in an improved variety can be summarized as: first is increased yield. Production of high yielding varieties, that is HYV. It improves the productivity of economic produce. Second, improved quality. Quality consideration varies from crop to crop. For example, it could be baking quality in wheat, protein quality in pulses, oil quality in oil seeds, etc. Third is increased tolerance to biotic, means living, and abiotic factors, that are non-living factors. Improved crops should be resistant to biotic factors, that are living factors like microbes, insects, nematodes, and other animals. Abiotic factors include drought, salinity, heat, cold, frost, etc. Crops suffer different stresses and the yield becomes low. Developing improved varieties that can overcome these stresses can increase the crop production. Early and uniform maturity. It involves developing the short duration varieties instead of traditional long duration varieties, means which require more time to fruit. It allows raising of 2 to 4 crops in succession in a year. Also, the uniform maturity of crop makes harvesting easy. Then, crops with desirable agronomic traits. Depending on the utility of crops, different agronomic traits are desired. For example, for fodder crops, the crops which are required as food for the livestock. The desired traits are tall plants with profuse branching and higher tillering. For cereal crops, the desired traits are dwarf varieties with short maturation period. Next is wider adaptability. The environmental conditions like weather, soil, or temperature keeps on changing. There is a need to develop crop varieties that can withstand and have a wider adaptability to the environmental conditions. It will reduce the risk of crop failure due to change in the environment conditions. Next is resistance to pathogens. Improved varieties resistant to pathogens like viruses, fungi, and bacteria that cause diseases. Next, we'll discuss about Green Revolution in India. Professor M.S. Swaminathan is known as the architect of Green Revolution in India. He has been described as a father of economic ecology by UN Environment Program and is the recipient of a number of national and international awards and was awarded World Food Prize for the contribution for fighting against hunger. In 1960s, some new high-yielding varieties that are HYV of wheat were successfully introduced in Mexico by a team led by Dr. Norman E. Borlaug. Higher doses of fertilizers, irrigation, and pesticides were also given to these crops. This resulted in production of high-yielding dwarf varieties of wheat by crossbreeding some of our traditional varieties with the Mexican varieties. These varieties were better suited to our climate and soil conditions. They resulted in a record production of wheat. This was the beginning of Green Revolution in India. After this, India became self-sufficient in wheat production. Not only that, India was able to create a buffer stock of grain in case of natural calamities like drought or floods. Seeing the success achieved by the improved varieties of wheat, research programs were launched to achieve similar high yielding varieties in rice, pulses, and oilseeds. Next, we will discuss about plant introduction. The process of introducing new plants from their old locality, that is, their place of cultivation, to a new locality where they were never grown before is called introduction, and their adjustment under this changed environmental conditions, that is of new locality, is called acclimatization. Introduction from other countries are valuable sources of germplasm. Introductions have given us many valuable crops like potato, cauliflower, grapes, etc. The homelands of these food crops still have the greatest genetic diversity of these crops. Sonar 64, a variety of wheat, and another variety of rice, that is Tachung Native 1, were introduced into India from Mexico. These dwarf Mexican varieties were the starting parent materials which by further selection brought green revolution in India. Next is need for quarantine. It is important to note that along with the introduced materials came new weeds, insects, diseases, and pests in our country. For example, the weed Argemone mexicana entered India along with the plant introduction. It is essential that all introduction be carefully examined for the presence of weeds. These are the unwanted plants that grow along with the main crop, insect pest, and disease causing organisms. For this, they are kept in isolated specialized design chambers before they are introduced into the country. This is called quarantine. It is necessary for both plants and animal introduction. Only those introductions that are tested free from the weeds, pests, or diseases are allowed to enter the country for cultivation, and rest are destroyed. The main steps in breeding a new genetic variety includes: first, in plant breeding, a systematic process is followed to get an improved genetic variety of crop. The main steps followed worldwide by government institutions and commercial companies to develop improved genetic variety are: first is collection of variability, that is germplasm collection, selection of plants from the germplasm, third, hybridization among the selected parents, selection and testing of superior recombinants that are called hybrids, testing, that is evaluation, release and commercialization of new varieties, that is cultivar. First, we'll talk about collection of variability, that is germplasm collection. Genetic variability is the basic root of the breeding program. In many crops, pre-existing genetic variability is available from wild relatives of the crop. Collection and preservation of all the different wild varieties, species and relatives of the cultivated species is a prerequisite for effective exploitation of genes available in a population. The entire collection of plants and seeds having all the diverse alleles for all the genes in a given crop is called germplasm collection. Now, what is the meaning of the word alleles? Alleles are defined as alternative form of genes that occupy same position on the homologous chromosomes. Now, talking about germplasm. Germplasm means the genetic material, especially that is present in the germ cells, means the reproductive cells of a species. Good germplasm collection is essential for a successful breeding program. It can also be defined as the sum total of all the alleles of the genes present in a crop and its related species. Now, talking about conservation of germplasm. The most convenient way of maintaining plant germplasm is by storing seeds. These stored seeds are grown periodically in the field to obtain fresh seeds. For certain plants like fruit trees, the germplasm is maintained as trees grown in the field. From these plant tissue cultures are obtained to maintain the germplasm in the test tubes. Now, what is tissue culture? It is a method of preserving germplasm, helps in storing a large number of genotypes in a relatively small area in culture vessels and generally at a fraction of the cost of annual growing and maintaining large living collections in the field. Now, next is selection of plants. Selection of parent plant is one of the oldest method of crop improvement. It refers to the selection of better quality of crops for the cultivation. Maybe it is related to the production of fruits. In nature, the best adaptive variety of a crop survives while the rest get wiped out in due course of time. This is called natural selection. The selection of a better variety of crop can be made artificially, that is, it can be done by man from the mixed population. This is called artificial selection. This better variety with more desirable characters is further propagated. Next, talking about hybridization. Hybridization involves crossing of two varieties or species or journal having desired genes and bringing together the useful characters of these into one new variety called the hybrid, or we can say the cross between two individuals or lines differing in genotypes. Genotypes is referred as the genetic constitution of an individual for any character. Hybrid is superior to either parent in one or more traits. The crossing could be intervarietal, interspecific or intergeneric depending upon the individual is crossed. When we use word interspecific, that means between two different species. When we use the word intervarietal, means two different varieties. Intervarietal hybridization is between two different varieties of the same species. Example, different varieties of wheat. Interspecific hybridization is between two different related species. Interspecific hybrids are normally difficult to produce as well as use. Intergeneric hybridization is between two different genera. Intergeneric hybrids are most difficult to produce and are often sterile. When we are using a word sterile, it means they are unable to reproduce. In hybridization, the choice of parents is critical for its success. Hybridization is also artificial crossing. The crossing is performed under controlled conditions. A systematic process is followed to get the desired results. Now, various steps of hybridization. First, two healthy plants with the desired characters are selected. Then, parent plants are grown separately to avoid cross pollination. One parent plant is used as a female plant and the other plant is used as a male plant. It means in female plant the pollen grains are allowed to settle on the stigma, while from the male plant the pollen grains are collected. Now here we are mentioning about removal of stamens from the female flower. This is called emasculation. E means without. Masculine word comes for the male part. So it is a phenomena of removal of stamens from a bisexual flower before the maturation of stigma in order to prevent self-pollination. Now, the emasculated flower is covered with a paper bag and tagged properly. Means it is mentioned on the bag when and from where it is taken. The tag contains the name of the parent plant, the time, the date of emasculation, and all other related details. This bag is opened when the flower is to be artificially pollinated, means when the pollen grains are supposed to settle on the stigma. After some time or hours or days, depending upon the crop, the viable pollen grains from the other selected variety are collected and dusted on the mature receptive stigma of the emasculated flower. After artificial pollination, rebagging is done. Rebagging means it is again covered with paper bag and again tagging is done. The fertilization takes place and all the seeds are collected upon maturity. They are F1 hybrids, means one which are obtained by crossbreeding the parents, or F1 seeds. They are sown and F1 plants are obtained. The plants with desired characters are selected. That is selected and grows better varieties of offsprings. From F1 plants, the next generation of F2 plants is grown. The cycle of crop raising and selection continues till the plant with the desired characters are finally obtained. The development of new varieties is a long drawn process. For example, it took 12 years to develop the wheat variety, that is HUW 468, through hybridization. It is not necessary that the hybrids do combine the desirable characters. Usually only 1 in few hundred to 1,000 crosses shows the desirable combinations. Next is selection and testing of superior recombinants called hybrids. It means selection of those plants that have the desired character combination from the hybrid formed. This selection process is crucial to the success of the breeding objective. It needs careful scientific evaluation of the progeny or hybrid formed. The plants, means the hybrids, that are superior to both the parents are selected and are self-pollinated for several generations till they give rise to pure lines or uniform homozygosity, means the individuals they are having the same type of genes. Now, testing, release and commercialization of new variety. It includes 3 processes. First is testing or evaluation. Second is release. Third is commercialization. So talking about testing or evaluation of newly selected hybrid line. When a new pure line, an improved variety or hybrid is developed, it undergoes critical evaluation before it is released for cultivation. It is evaluated for a number of factors like yield, quality, disease and insect resistance, and a number of other traits. In India, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, that is ICAR, New Delhi, is the evaluating agency. Evaluation is done by growing the hybrid in the research fields and recording their performance under ideal fertilizer application, irrigation, and other crop management practices. Now, talking about release of new variety. If a new pure line, a variety or a hybrid is found to be superior to the existing varieties as well as to the other new varieties, it is released as a new variety. The procedure that is followed for the release of a new variety is as follows. First, the breeder of such a new variety makes a proposal for its release. The proposal is considered by a variety release committee. New material is given a name and released as a new variety if the proposal is accepted. The government notifies for each new release. Now, talking about commercialization of improved variety. The efficiency and benefits of a new variety are realized only when it reaches the farmers for cultivation. Normally we use the term seed that develops from an ovule, but in plant breeding it has much wider meaning. In plant breeding, the term seed means any plant part that is used to grow a crop. An improved seed is a seed of a variety with superior traits. An improved seed must be of high purity, high germination percentage. The seed must also be free from seeds of weeds and diseases. Label for seeds. The seeds that are sold for growing crops must have a proper label carrying information about them. Then certified seeds. Certified seeds means that the quality of a seed has been certified by an authorized agency. In India, National Seed Corporation, that is NSC, certifies the seeds and continues to play a central role in seed multiplication. Next is improved high yielding varieties, that is HYV. India is basically an agriculture country. Nearly 63% of the population is employed in this sector. Agriculture accounts for nearly 33% of Indian GDP, that is gross domestic product. There was only limited land available that was fit for cultivation. Hence, India had to strive hard to increase its per unit area yield from the existing farmland. Talking about wheat, from year 1960 that we have already discussed, when Green Revolution was started, when from Mexico the varieties were introduced in India, to 2000, the wheat production increased from 11 million tons to 75 million tons. And the HYV of wheat are Sonalika and Kalyan, which were introduced all over India. Like wheat, rice production also increased during 1960 to 2000. It increased from 35 million tons to 89.5 million tons. It was obtained by crossbreeding high-yielding semi-dwarf varieties. These semi-dwarf varieties were derived from IR8, developed at International Rice Research Institute IRRI, Philippines, and Tachung Native 1 from Taiwan. The derivatives were introduced in 1966. Later, better yielding semi-dwarf varieties like Jaya and Ratna were developed in India. Thank you and have a good day.